Hello and welcome to exercise session number 8, where we will be looking at files. So first of all, some practical information. So we still have a trickle of support questions related to the evaluation system. So basically how you generate this token file you need to upload. And if you're in a situation that this doesn't work, especially if it doesn't work here at the test exam, I really invite you to accelerate those problems to us on preferably on Discord. And if it's something that might be like an unusual problem, let's put it like that, you're also welcome to come by my office at 321-127. It's super important that none of you have problems as you approach the exam that relate to this system. But otherwise, I don't think I have any particular comments today. So let's just jump right into the exercises. So the exercises today will be about files. And a file is, for instance, a Python file like this. So it's the way your computer stores data. And we'll be looking at how to read files and write them. Now, as this section explains, files have a location on your computer. So on Windows, the location will typically start with C:. On Mac OS and Linux, it will typically start with /. We write the path, the separator between the folders using forward, like this kind of /. Sometimes on Windows, you'll also see, or most of the time on Windows, I should probably say, you'll see a \. But on Windows, those two are equivalent, so I'd recommend you just stick to this /. But I think it's actually a little bit useful to elaborate on this concept of a path to a file, because it'll be very important when you need to read and write files in the following. So I think I'll illustrate that here using the Python shell. So first of all, when you start Visual Studio Code and you have a terminal, it tells you what folder you're in currently. So I'm in the folder that is abbreviated a little, that's what the tilde refers to, but it's in the Documents folder, 2003, that's a folder on my computer, Courses, and then it's the Students folder that I have here. And I can list the content of the folder, and it is what you would expect. This is what I downloaded. And then I can change the location I'm currently in using the commands that we saw in one of the first weeks. So for instance, cd will go into the cp folder, and then I can list what files I have right now. And then if I do cd ... I go one step up. Okay, now here's the tricky thing. If I start Python like this, Python knows that it was started in this folder. So how can I tell that? Well, I can do it like this. I need to write import OS, and then there is a special command called get current working directory, and you just need to know this. Embarrassingly, I actually had to Google it. But if I print this out, it'll tell me you are in this folder, and that is congruent with what we saw above. It has just expanded the first part of the path. Now, let's try to work a bit with this. So let's say that I want to load the README file. Then what I can do is that I can do git open like this, and I specify R because R means reading. I want to read from this file, and then I need to use this special syntax where I write as f, and then on the next line I write is a variable I define f.read. And this little pattern of 2 lines is how I can read from this file. So now we see that when I run it, S contains the content of this file. It looks a little bit garbled because Python, when it's represented as a string, will print out new lines using this \n syntax. So in order to format it a little bit nicer, I can use print, and then it'll print out the new line characters as actual new lines, and now it looks a little bit like what you expect. Now, I wanted to say something about paths, so let's try to mess things up a little bit. I quit Python, And then I do cd like this, and now I'm starting Python in a different folder. So here if I type Python, and then do exactly as what I did before, import OS, and then import OS, then current working directory, you see that I'm starting in a different folder. And that means that if I do exactly what I did before, I try to open this readme file, and then I do s equal f.read. Now I get a problem, because it says I cannot find this file. And that's because this file location is relative to the directory I'm in right now, and I've started it in the wrong directory. So the way I can fix that is that I can include the missing part of the path up here. So, sorry, it shouldn't be CP, it should be 002 students-readme. Python will then sort of add this relative file location, and it's called relative because it starts sort of it doesn't include the complete path. It's relative to the current path. It'll add this part of the path to this part here, and that will give me the location of the file it'll try to load. Notice that I didn't include a backslash here in the front. That might seem logical because okay, you want to add this with this, so maybe shouldn't there be a backslash? There shouldn't. You'll get an error if you do that. So this is the way I would now access the file from this directory. And now I can do the same as I had before. I can read from the file, and now it will actually work. And this way I can basically, if I remember to include the right folders, I can read some of the files for exercise 8. I can't really remember what they're called. Maybe I can find out, so we can just illustrate it. Let's find one. Let's do counting. So we'll try to read counting. Counting.py. And let's call it C. And that'll give me the content of this counting file. You can see that it isn't complete, but it's congruent with what I have up here. Okay, so the operative thing here was that I included the right relative path. So keep that in mind in the following exercises, because this problem that I got, let's just find the error message. This error message, no such file or directory, that means that you basically did this problem, like you made this mistake. So keep that in mind, because I'm sure that many of you are going to see this by accident, maybe because you mistyped the file name or something like that.